What is God's will for my life? A lot of Christians are constantly asking that question as if it's something that's very dark and mysterious. But there are certain places in the Bible where God's will is spelled out very clearly for us. And if we would take those places that we know for sure what God's will is and put those into practice in our lives, the path before us becomes clearer and clearer. I want to look at one of those places in the book of Ephesians chapter 6. It tells us there in verse 5, "Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters." Now, immediately our minds shut down because we don't really live in a world with servants and masters. We do live in a world of employees and employers. And so maybe we should think about it in that regard. He says, "Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart, as unto Christ." And so when you are obedient to the boss, in other words, the boss wants this work done, this is the work that you're going to get done, and you do it with singleness of heart. In other words, not a double heart, not a divided heart, but singleness of heart, and doing it, he says there, as unto Christ. What if Christians showed up at work and did their job as if they were doing it serving Christ? Well, verse 6 goes on and says, "Not with eye service, as men pleasers." What does that mean? Well, it means not just when the boss is looking. This is what you call a suck up. The person that every time the boss is looking, they make sure that everything they do is for the appearance rather than just simply doing your job. But as the servants of Christ, now this is where it says, doing the will of God from the heart. If you want to follow the will of God for your life, show up to work and do your work as unto Christ rather than unto the boss man. Verse 7 says, "With good will doing service as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he be bond or free." He goes on to talk about masters or the bosses, and he says, "And ye masters, do the same things unto them, forbearing, threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven, neither is there respect of persons with him." So God doesn't care whether you're a Christian boss or whether you're a Christian employee. He wants you to do your job, whatever that job is, as unto the Lord, as a servant of Christ. So what that means is instead of thinking that the will of God is just around the next bend in the road or over the next hill, to get up this next day and go to work realizing that the will of God is for you to serve Jesus right where you are, right in your place of employment. As a boss who loves Jesus and who takes care of the people who work for him, or as an employee who loves Jesus and does his work as unto Christ and not just to be seen of men. I want to encourage you, this will change your life. And by this simple attitude change, it'll change every workplace. Can you imagine what would happen at a workplace if the believers there actually took this seriously and put this into practice? Well, this is the will of God. He lays it out for us very clearly. So I want to encourage you to put God's word into practice today, and you'll be walking in the will of God. God bless you. Have a great day.